Hello again. I'm Trent from the Drunken Public Service YouTube channel. That's what DIP stands for, Drunken Public Service. I went ahead and shortened it down so I'd have more room on my whiteboard for you. I'm going to do a video here that maybe not everybody's going to appreciate fully, but the idea is to develop a little bit of perspective about something. That something is terrorism, fear and terrorism. There was a Huffington Post poll that just came out asking what was the most important thing for us to pass laws regarding to increase the safety of. Terrorism scored 64%. 64% of responders said terrorism is the number one thing we need to take care of. 23% said guns. And 13% said other, or they were undecided. So to put that into perspective, almost 3 times as many people thought terrorism was a bigger threat to American life than guns. Well, it's not quite right. The numbers are pretty simple. From 2002 to 2014, there were 85 deaths due to terrorism in the United States. And that includes domestic terrorism, meaning the non-Islamic radical kind. In fact, of those 85 deaths, 2/3 were by non-Muslims. You see, we get into this idea that terrorism is an existential threat to us. And it's true, but not for the reasons you think. We'll get into that in just a second. Over that same span, the average number of gun deaths in the United States is over 30,000. Now, yeah, most of those are self-inflicted. It's true. We are a relatively high suicide rate country, but that's a lot of gun deaths. Murders account for almost 6,000 of those every year. And then you have a lot of accidentals as well. When we think about things that kill us, according to the 2014 CDC leading causes of death report, the top 8 are right here. Heart disease, 614,000 deaths. Cancer, 591,000. Respiratory disease, 147,000. Meaning, smoking is the huge killer. We'll just move past that. Accidents. I put an asterisk next to that because that includes gun accidents. 136,000. It also will be domestic accidents, car accidents, you name it. Any kind of accident, any kind of unfortunate circumstance that ends in a death falls under that 136,000. Stroke, 133,000. Alzheimer's, 93,000. Almost 93 and a half here. Diabetes, 76,000. Flu and pneumonia, 55,000 deaths. 2014. Total number of American deaths in 2014 due to radical Islamic terrorism, 2. They were both journalists in the Middle East, captured by terrorist groups and then executed. It's a sad story, but we need to think of things in a perspective way. For instance, it's one of my most amazing statistics right here. An American is 16 times more likely to be killed by lightning than terrorists. And that includes domestic terrorists. When you really wrap your head around it, the goal of terrorism is not to kill us all. It can't be. I mean, the attrition alone just forbids it. It's just not possible. For every attack, those terrorists lose their lives. No matter how many of them there are. None of them will survive. Now, it leads you to understand that they're really desperate people doing a very desperate act. And whatever the motivation is behind that, Apparently, it's largely to do with a twisted version of their religion. I mean, it's crazy, to be honest. But you're 16 times more likely to be killed by lightning. That's something to try and keep an account. Over 30,000 people die from gunshots every year. That happens every day. Living here in greater Los Angeles, I see 5, 6 reports of this every day on the local news. Local residents gunned down. It's happening in Chicago. It's happening across the United States. These are terrible times. And people are doing desperate things. So, why is the focus on terrorism? Like a great magician, it's a way to keep us scared, or at least misdirected. That's the magician part. So we don't pay attention to the real problems. If you look at these numbers, it's pretty obvious that your health is going to kill you. Almost surely your health is going to kill you. 7 of the top 8. Most of them preventable in some measure. Terrorism isn't on that list. 85 people in 12 years. Yes, 9/11 was a massive, massive blow to the country. And over 3,000 people lost their lives. And that death toll is still rising as first responders continue to perish from health problems that they developed from being there in the aftermath, doing everything they could to help. But we need to be realistic about these things. And we need to stop thinking that this is the end-all be-all. And here's why. Terrorists, they aren't out to destroy us all. They can't. It's an ideology. They're out to destroy our civilization, our society, our way of life. They're out to turn us against each other. Turn us against each other. And when you think about 64% of the respondents to that poll saying, yeah, we've got to stop them from turning us against each other, that's proof that terrorism is actually winning. The rise to power of Donald Trump is absolute evidence that terrorism is winning. That there's such a large block of Americans so concerned about our border safety, our safety from terrorists, that they think this number is the biggest one on this board. It's not. You're 16 times more likely to be killed by lightning. But if we continue down this path, terrorists turn us against each other. And that's what's already happening. Can't let that happen. We have to go forward every day thinking positive thoughts, doing positive things, living the life that we're supposed to lead. Because as soon as you don't, that's when we've lost. There are a lot of good things to be scared of in this world. Sharks, for example, are scary as hell. But I'm not scared of anybody because of the color of their skin. I'm going to keep living my life, and I hope you all continue to live yours. Head held high, proud to be an American, because one of the cornerstones of American society is the bravery to do the right thing. I'm Trent. This is the Drunken Public Service YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.